I am here with Frank DeLorenzo of R&R Games, and we have one of R&R's newer games right in front of us called New Haven.
That's right.
So, what sort of game is New Haven?
Well, this is kind of a light Euro-style strategy game. It's a resource management kind of game where you want to basically collect a lot of resources, then use them to build up your town.
All right. Well, just give us a quick rundown of actually how the game sort of works and sort of how to play.
So everyone has a board in front of them that is pretty much forest at the moment. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking our buildings and placing them on the board and slowly building up a village. Okay? At the end of the game, I'm going to score for each row and each column that I've completed. And if I can complete them full of buildings, then I'm going to get double score. If I can't, some of these I may have to play as a field like that, where it doesn't have a building on it, whereas this side has the building with a number, this side does not. That means I haven't completed the whole thing with buildings. I'm only going to get the score of that column or row. I won't get a double score. So that's the objective, is to get as much of the stuff out here onto the board, have the most attractive town, with the most people. Now, how do you do that? Well, I have here these tiles that have resources on them, and everyone has a couple behind their screen, and they also have one special one here called the shipment tile. So those are the tiles we're going to use each turn to build out on the board. So in a two-player game, you play with just the center spot. In a three-player game, you add this color, and then you play with the whole board in four. On the other side, there's actually a whole other board with some other things on it for a more advanced game, but we're just going to talk about the basic game. You'll notice that there's some buildings out here, and there's a resource chart right here. The way this works is, on my turn, I take one square, and I can place it anywhere I want on the board. I can put it out in the middle, or I can attach it next to something else. The reason I want to attach most likely is because I want to get as many resources as possible. So whatever the resources on this tile, I will get, but I will also get whatever I attach to that is the same. So right here, I would get 1, 2, 3, 4 wood, a wheat, and a stone. As if I put it like this, I would only get wheat, stone, and 2 wood because it doesn't connect to that wood. So I could go over here, and I could get 2 stone, 2 wood, and a wheat. So it depends on how I place this. Now, looking at my buildings, I probably would do something like this and say, we'll take the 4 wood, I move the 4 wood up, I take the 1 stone and the 1 wheat. One of them is always left behind at 0. It's very important because we're going to build buildings from these things. So, at this stage, I can look behind my screen and say, well, I have a 3 red building, I'm going to use it to build there. I use up 3 of these, and now I say, well, I can't use the rest of these. Well, actually I can. I have another building. I'm going to take a chance here, and I'm going to build it upside down. So I can build this building upside down for the cost of this, but you know what? I actually am cheating already. I can't do that because that's 2, right? And this is only 1. So I can't do that. So as much as I'd like to turn that over and take that 1 away, I can't. So now what I have to do is pass it to you. Say, guess what? Here's some leftover for you to use. Now, if you have anything in there that you might be able to use, you would use it up, and it would go to the next player and so on, and they might use some of it, but they might leave some behind. When it gets back to me, and everyone has tried to build a building using these resources, whatever is at 0 is how many new buildings I get. So I have to take the first one off the board. I probably would take this one, it's a nice cheap one. I put it behind here. I can then take the next ones either from the board or from the bag. Okay. All right? That's my choice. So I might, for example, say, oh, I like this one and I like that one. I'm good with that. Then I replace those. I put those back on the board and we're good to go. Now, that's my whole turn. I then pass it to you. You're going to do the same thing. It's going to keep going around. We're going to share the resources from the center to build our buildings, okay? But there's a few rules you need to know. When you're building your buildings, if I placed red here, from then on, all red buildings must be attached to this. So my next red building can be here, 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 or here, but not over here. So this is illegal, that's illegal, that is legal. All right? Now, again, if I don't have the number I want, because this number has to match the row you're in, so this is a 2 building, goes in the row 2, But I could put it in row 4 by just turning it over, saying I'm going to pay the 4, I'm going to make it a lovely field, but I don't get a building. All right? But at least I cover that square. That's what you're going to do later in the game when you really like, oh, I gotta fill that row, I gotta fill that column, because you cannot score if you don't fill the column or you fill the row. All right. So there is one other feature you have in this game, and that is the shipment tile. Everyone has one of these that they can use once in the game. When they want to use it, it's a big boost for them. They say, I'm going to get 4 of whatever I want. And if it attaches to something that they're calling out, they're going to get it. So if I say this is 4 wheat, then it'll be 4 plus 1 is 5, and we'd get 5 wheat. But if I say this is 4 wood, it would be 4 plus 1, 2, 3, 4 connected wood. I now get 8 wood. So usually you use it a little bit later in the game to get a big boost if you have some big buildings that are 6s or 5s to build. That's pretty much the whole game in a nutshell. You play until 1 square is left. When 1 square is left, that's it. Game is over. You score each row, each column, and you're done. Now, there is an expansion set that we released at Essen that we also have called the New Haven Charters. These are additional scoring goals that add to the game. So,
I guess just one gameplay question here. What happens to this now that it's brown?
I forgot to tell you that. When it's done, when your turn is done, and you've used up the 8 wood, whatever, I flip this over any way I like. I say now it looks like that. For the rest of the game, for you people, it's going to be that, not the 4 wood.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, I know R&R Games has a lot of some of the kind of lighter family, I'd say, kind of party games.
Yep.
What inspired you guys to make a game like this? And I guess what inspired you to even sort of go with the theme that you did?
Well, I love strategy games. I play a lot of Euro-style strategy games. It's my favorite kind of game. You know, I love party games, so obviously we do a lot of party games. But this is also a game that I love to play. So I look for these kind of games, and the more I can find, the more I put in the line. This one in particular stood out for the mechanics of the game. When we actually got this game, it was a completely different theme, and I loved how it played. I just didn't like the theme, so we found a theme that we thought worked really well, and built it from that.
All right. So now, this being a new game, is this something that people can pick up now?
Absolutely. Yeah, we brought this out at Essen last year, and then we quickly sold out of what we had, and then we finally got it back in a couple months ago, and it's now available, and you can pretty much buy it anywhere you buy these games.
All right. Well, it sounds fantastic. It looks really accessible for, I'd say, kind of a.
It plays really well in 2, 3, or 4.
Okay. Are there actually alternate rules for 2-player? Because I know a lot of games do that. With,
not really, actually. No, the rules for 2-player are exactly the same.
You just don't have
the
these
only
areas.
difference is you play with the central area, so it's a smaller play area. On the other side of the board, we have a secondary board here. This has a little bit different. You have certain spaces that are going to start with either one of these tiles or one of the pawn tiles, which look like this. These are actually going to block the area. You cannot go through them, you cannot connect through them, so they're a little bit of an obstacle. And on this board, you will find clearings where buildings will be. And these buildings, when you place in those clearings, you get to take the building for yourself. So it's a little bit different, a little bit more challenging, but we like to maximize as much play as you can in our boards. So.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. I was going to say, because this side seems like it's really great for, say, like a family, and the other side's really great for a group of gamers that are really kind of into those sort of things. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. It sounds really exciting. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, enjoy.